Hello everyone, welcome once again to our look at times past here on Destination Newry, and we've got Paddy McCann along with us today, an ex-Newry seaman, and last week we made a trip from Warrenpoint to Newry along with the Warrenpoint Harbour Authority. We travelled on their launch, the Maid of Clonallen, up through narrow water, and we recorded the journey, and we'll see the video in a few minutes. But the purpose of the trip with the launch was to bring it up to use as a committee boat for a sailing demonstration in the Albert Basin last week. It was a very successful day, and we presented the Carlingford Loch Yacht Club with a certificate. But I have here a cup which was used for the Newry Regatta in the year 1885, and I've just shown it to Paddy. This is the first time Paddy has seen the cup, and the Newry Regatta was instituted in 1880. It began in 1880, and this particular cup was donated for Junior Fours rowing competition in 1885. It was won by a man called Frank Arda. He was one of the four members of the team who won this cup, or won an individual cup each. This is his. And it was found during a house clearance in Canal Street in Newry some years ago in a house belonging to a Miss Arda. And one of the other team members was a young 18-year-old man named Frank Fisher, son of Joseph Fisher, and a man who went on to run the family farm in Newry for 50 years. So quite a bit of history in your hand there, Paddy.
It is indeed. And I'll tell you what, there's some weight in it for such a small cup. And it's well designed as well. I'd say I wouldn't like to put a price on that, because it looks extremely well.
Well now, last Friday, Paddy, we came up to Newry on the Maid of Clonallen, as I said, the Warrenpoint Harbour Authority launch, and it must have invoked some memories for you.
Look, it did, of course. Like the last time I came up the Newry Canal, up through the Norris, there was 1964, and it did take up a lot of memories, and not forgetting, a lot of people doesn't realise the scenery coming up there through the Norris is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's a different perspective from the water, isn't it?
Oh, it is, of course. Like, people doesn't realise the scenery they have around them, and it's only when you come up through there you really notice it, it's just beautiful.
I think our viewers are in for a bit of a treat, and in the best Gay-born tradition, I think we'll say, roll it, Sean. In the absence of Colette, I think it was Colette Gay-born used to call him.
Yes.
We'll ask Sean to show us the video of the trip.
That's nice. I'm looking forward to seeing it, all right.
Very good. Well, here we are. I'm James McAreevy from Newry Maritime Association, and we're here in Warrenpoint Harbour this afternoon on board the Warrenpoint Harbour Authority tug, the Maid of Clonallen. And this is a vessel that the Harbour Authority purchased in Scotland, and they use here for survey operations around the port and in the channel. And today we're going on a journey up to Newry as part of the Carlingford Loch dinghy visit tomorrow on Saturday. And this boat will be used as a committee boat in the Albert Basin. So this afternoon we're going to take a trip from Warrenpoint Port northwards up through narrow water into Victoria Locks, and of course up the historic Newry Canal. And we have some people to speak to later on. We have ex-seamen and Newry Maritime Association members Paddy McCann and John McParland, and of course the Chief Executive of Warrenpoint Harbour, Mr. Peter Conway, who has a long identification with sailing in the area and with the local yacht club. and Peter is actually going to take charge of the Maid of Clonallen today on the voyage. So we'll speak to Peter later on, and we'll have some shots of the harbour as we leave now. It's a lovely afternoon, very picturesque and tranquil here in Carlingford Lough, and you can see the snow caps on the hills behind me over in Cooley. And in fact, I believe there is a very important meeting being held today in the Carrickdale Hotel regarding the proposed bridge being built at Narrow, and we'll be passing that site as well, and we'll take a look at it when we get there. Well, now here we are at Victoria Locks in Fadham. We've arrived now on the Maid of Clonallen, and with me here is Peter Conway, and Peter is the Chief Executive of Warrenpoint Harbour Authority, and he's also our skipper for today on the Maid of Clonallen. Isn't that right, Peter?
That's right, and I'm a wee bit nervous because of all these naval people here who are watching me, but we'll have to keep the head down and do the best. Got a good crew, James, that's the important thing.
Yeah, and Peter, what is the purpose of the trip for yourself now? What's happening with the Maid of Clonallen tomorrow in Newry?
Well, Warrenpoint Harbour Authority really, as you know, is the descendant of Newry Port, and we like to be associated with the Maritime Association like your good selves. And tomorrow there is a regatta taking place in the Albert Basin to demonstrate to the local people, both adults and children, the great joy that there is in sailing. And tomorrow the Maid of Clonallen will be up there berthed to just support the local Carlingford Lough Yacht Club who are putting on that demonstration. Well,
as you mentioned there, the Harbour Authority, of course, are corporate members with the Maritime Association, and it's an excellent exercise. I think it shows a great combination of the effort between the public and the voluntary sectors in what we're doing here, which is the active promotion of the history of the port. And in fact, I can see just behind us here the memorial for the privet and the walnut as we're rising in the chamber here. But it's great to see the Harbour Authority integrating with the community, and I know that you're very supportive in the area of associations such as ours and the local schools, etc.
Yes, well, we are public trust port, so we're actually owned by the people of Northern Ireland, and more particularly the people of Newry and Mourne. So apart from running a very successful business, we're the second port now in Northern Ireland and the fifth on the island of Ireland. It is important for us to work with our local community, and also I think to demonstrate how important the heritage is to us, because quite frankly, if Newry had never been developed as a port, Warren Point Port would never be there either. So, you know, we're just following on from the traditions, the great traditions of seamanship in this area, and it's so good to see them being revived again, and indeed the heritage being maintained by the Newry Maritime Association.
And also, Peter, finally, you also, I know that it's part of your marketing strategy that you actually promote Warren Point as the port for the city of Newry nowadays.
Oh yes, well, I think I often point out to people that the actual postal address is Warren Point, Newry, County Down, and you know, whenever I'm abroad trying to promote business, maybe in Belgium or Holland or in Britain or further afield, I always point out that Warren Point is the port for the new city of Newry. And that has a ring to it, because when they go to look on the map, that's what they'll see. And the great advantage to the port is it's halfway between Dublin and Belfast, and it can serve a very, very important market.
Lovely. Peter, Conway, thank you very much. Well, now I'm joined at Victoria Lock by Captain John McParland, another member of Newry Maritime Association, and an enthusiastic member too, John.
Yes, indeed, and I hope to be able to be that for many years to come, yes. I have a long history with the Newry Ship Canal. The first time I came up the canal was 1941, when I was 6 years of age. My father was captain of a little ship called the SS Jasmine, and we came down and joined them at the locks and went up to Newry with them, which was lovely. And this will probably be my last trip up the canal. You never know, though. We'll see how it goes.
Well, last year we had a voyage, John, with your cousins, also two captains in the Merchant Navy, Tom Ramsey and Kenneth Hollywood.
That was up the canal up in the pilot boat from. Yes, indeed, that was a lovely trip. It brought back a load of memories, that with the two men that were with us, Captain Tom, Captain Kenneth Hollywood. That both of these guys come from up above the fields above us here. They lived up there, where all the sailors of Newry came from. In the main was all Fathom men, all came from around that part of the world, and very eminent sailors, fantastic sailors, sailed the ships all around Europe in dreadful conditions and poor navigation equipment. Wonderful men.
And John, what are your memories of the men who worked here, the lockmen and the lockmasters that you would have known?
My goodness me. 1951, I joined the Bamboo, and we used to come in and out through this lock quite frequently, and we helped the men open the gates. The crew of the ships jumped ashore, helped them wind the gates. Men travelled from Killian on their bicycles right down here to Newry Locks on twice a day for two tides to open these gates. Fantastic men. And another man I have to mention on the canal was an old man who lit the lamps along the canal bank. He was the one that Peter Lynch lived up on the Flagstaff Road as well. But these were great people.
Lovely. Well, John, we'll get talking later on when things get a wee bit quieter. But happy memories.
They're great memories, great people. Wonderful people. There's one or two still alive, but they're nearly all gone now, unfortunately.
John, thank you very much. Thank you. gateway. That's the wee gateway into it. That's where his house was. And a Captain Jack Hollywood lived in this house that's all refurbished. Jack Hollywood lived here. And then behind that, the wall, that was the oil depot. And this house over here was Captain Terry O'Hanlon. Now that's where the actual oil depot was, in behind that wall. Reach a certain level, you see the water can run down. So here we are at the Albert Basin. We've arrived now, having journeyed up from Mourne Point through Narrawater and through the locks. And here's Paddy McCann. Paddy's also a valued member of Newry Maritime Association. Did you enjoy that trip, Paddy?
Definitely did, Jim, and thank you very much. And the Newry or Warren Point Harbour Trust for giving me the privilege of coming up on the trip. I enjoyed every minute of it. Lovely.
Well, I'm sure, Paddy, it brought back a few memories for you.
It did indeed. I think the last time I came up the Irish in a boat was 1964. And
That's 36, 48 years ago, Paddy.
a lot has changed from then. But I have to say I enjoyed every moment of it.
And tell me, you said the last time you came up was 64. When was your first trip to sea, Paddy?
My first trip to sea was in the Rowan. First trip on one of the Newry boats. An uncle of mine took me to sea on the B&I Shipping Company, 1952, Halloween in 1952. And then I joined, I was in her for about 4 months. She laid up, it was a kettle boat actually, one of the B&I steamers. And I joined the Rowan with Captain Brian O'Keefe about February 1953.
Now, you mentioned Captain Brian O'Keefe, and the last new ship that Fishers had was the Olive that arrived in Newry in December 1963.
Right.
And you were a member of the crew that brought the Olive home on her maiden voyage, isn't that right?
That's right. Myself and Paddy McCann and Aloysius McShane was one of the crew members. Captain O'Keefe and Mick O'Rourke from Carniford was mate.
And Johnny McElroy was chief.
He was chief engineer, yes. Then the second engineer now, I think it was Paddy McLaughlin.
And John McGrath, was he?
John McGrath was the greaser. Yes.
So, how long did you stay in the Olive then, Paddy?
I was on the Olive there for about 17 months then. And then I left her and went further afield then.
Now, later on, of course, an old friend of yours, Mickey Fern, Mickey took over as mate.
That's right.
And I've heard Mickey often describe Brian O'Keefe, or Big Brian as he was known, as the best coasting skipper of his generation. Would you agree with that?
I would have to be 100%. Yes, definitely was. Sure, tremendously time he took ships till ports in France, and he didn't even have a chart. He went on an atlas.
Yeah, on the compass rules.
Yes, that's right, yes. And there was nothing there, only a compass.
Well, Paddy, how do you feel standing here in the Albert Basin today? And, we've got the Quay Shopping Centre here behind us. There's little or no memory of the port or the people who worked here. What's your feeling on that?
Well, I'd have to say it's very sad, but I have to say, James, fellas like yourself is taking us all back to life again and giving it back to the people in Newry, and I'm very thankful for that. And
Well-
a lot of other people.
Well, Paddy, we're delighted. We're delighted to have men of your calibre and your knowledge and expertise to assist, because I feel that it's men like yourself. You're literally walking reference books.
Yeah, well, James, I'm have to tell you something. Yourself, for a man that never went to sea, I've never met anybody in my life with a memory like yours, and it's putting so much into this Newry Canal business. For a man, at one stage, you didn't know the front of a boat from the back.
Well, true enough, Paddy. It's an enthusiasm, but as I say, without people like yourself that have knowledge and hands-on experience, the whole thing would be lost. And I think it's vitally important that we preserve and promote our history as much as we can, because up till now it pretty much has all been airbrushed, hasn't it?
That's right. And I'll tell you another thing too. The short time I've been with the Newry Maritime Association, and thank you, Jim, for asking me to join, I'm getting great pleasure going to the schools and educating the young children, and to me it's, well, how can I explain? It's just great. Just
Well, Paddy, thank you for that's compliments indeed coming from a man like yourself, and it's great to have you and John and Mickey and people like that along with us in furthering our aims, and hopefully today with the trip on the Maid of Clonallen here, that are linked with the Harbour Authority and now Carlingford Lock Yacht Club and the activities here on the basin tomorrow. Hopefully, this will be a stepping stone to further usage and activity of the waterway.
look, it will be. There's no doubt about it. And it's great to see the Newry people getting involved and other outside companies and that. And can I say, James, the work that's been done with the Newry Maritime Association, the short time it's gone, is just unbelievable.
Well, thank you once again, Paddy, and thanks very much. We no doubt we'll do some more with Paddy and John at a later stage. Obviously, talk to them about the shipping end of things at the port at the Albert Basin and of their time at sea together. But for now, we're going to go and have a nice cup of tea, courtesy of Mr. Conway on board the Maid of Clonallen here. So that's our next port of call. Thank you. So, Paddy, what did you think of that? The video.
The video, the
Yeah.
one that was taken.
Yeah.
I thought it was extremely good. Yeah.
Yeah. And
A lot of work put into it.
you'll be signing autographs.
Yeah.
Just by the way, when we came through Victoria Locks, your old friend Mickey Fern was the last lockmaster,
That's right. Yeah.
68 to 74,
Right.
and his brother Hugh John was the last harbour master.
That's right. Yeah.
And they were neighbours of yours in the old Thomas Street, weren't they?
Yeah. Well, Hugh John was married to an aunt of mine, and my mother's sister.
Mm-hmm.
And Mickey, of course, both of them, like, even if I had been no connection, I knew them all through my life from as a young fella.
Mm-hmm.
I was on the round with Mickey 1953. Mickey was made of the round along with Big Brian Cheif, Captain Cheif.
Mm-hmm.
And good seaman he was too. All the Ferns were all good seamen. All, you know.
And of course, Father Jared, the late Father Jared, was prior of St. Catherine's.
Well, if he hadn't have been a priest, he'd definitely been a seaman, because he never left the Newry boats. He was always down. He always had the bike with him. He got a ride down to the Newry locks, the Victoria locks, or vice versa. He come up from Victoria to Newry.
Mm-hmm. Well, next week we're going to speak to Paddy at length. As you can see, he's a man with a mine of information, a wealth of stories from a lifetime at sea, and we'll be speaking to Paddy at length next week about his time at sea, and especially with his connection with Joseph Fisher and Sons, and we look forward to seeing you then.